Jurak Classic Whole Body Tonic is a dietary supplement, not a drug. Therefore, it is useful to affect the structure and or function of your body in various ways, but it is not intended to and will not cure, mitigate, treat, or prevent any disease. Individual testimonials may not be everyone's experience and do not constitute scientific evidence. Jurak Corporation does not make any drug or treatment claims for its product.
Tonight, folks, we have Christina Simon, who takes care of her dad. His name is Cecil. He's 89 years old. She's the caretaker. And, folks, that's a pretty tough job. But when you love your parents, I mean, you do what you got to do. So, Christina, we wanted to ask you about your dad because you said that you got him on JC Tonic, but tell us his condition, what happened at the doctor's office, and why you got him on JC Tonic.
Okay, my father had a bacterial infection about 5-6 years ago, died on the operating table. They revived him. We were caring for him for almost 5 years. He had an open wound that was constantly required to be cared for, rebandaged 3 or 4 times a week. We had nurses coming in off and on. My dad went through 2 surgeries and several minor surgeries to treat this fistula that he had. Because it was an ongoing thing and required a lot of medical care, he was in a care center for a short while. I brought him home, and I began to take care of him full time. About a year ago, I told the medical personnel, I talked to the doctors, and as the head surgeon at the hospital, he had treated my dad with keeping this fistula open, packing it, bandaging it, and then the nurses would come in 2 or 3 times a week, depending on the degree of the drainage. Well, last November, last year, I told them that we'd done everything. We have done the medical route. We've taken the medications. We have had the surgeries, the treatments, the packing. And I said, I want to do something drastic. I said, I've got some knowledge in nutrition and health, and I have a product that is an herbal formula, and I want to try it. And I said, I just don't see this thing healing on its own. Mm-hmm. Now, my dad's been taking apple cider vinegar since his heart surgery in 2002, and that kept the infection at bay, but nothing was healing completely. So after I talked to one of the head nurses that was coming out to visit my dad, she says, we can't tell you what to do in your own home. So if you want to try it, go ahead, because apparently what we're doing isn't fixing the problem, because it didn't make sense to me. Why wasn't it healing? And mind you, there's a pocket of infection that is about 6 inches within the buttock, and that had to be constantly left open so that it would drain the infection. And after the second surgery, it was a constant drainage. I started him on the tonic 2 ounces a day, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and I just watched it. He had one major episode. These infections, that what would happen is the fistula would kind of start closing up, and then it would open up and drain for probably 3 days, and then it would close back up. Well, the whole idea was to keep it open so that it would start healing from the inside out, but it just wasn't happening. By the end of December, that crazy thing created its own drain. So we had 2 holes now. We had the surgical one, and now we have a natural one that opened up on its own in a different area where there was a pocket in there that was really hard, and my father was in extreme pain where he could not sleep on his side or on his back or sitting without feeling this pressure. 1 ounce a day. And by January, he had a really light drainage, and then it healed. It's gone. Even the secondary hole that was created by the body itself, it has healed over where you can't even see where there was an opening. And the other one, it just has a little bitty indentation where the surgical tube was in to drain that fistula. It's been a year. He did get sick, and I got sick back in January, really sick. I'm thinking if I was tested for COVID, or we were, that we probably have antibodies. But I took that tonic. My dad took that tonic. I was sick from Saturday night to Tuesday night in January, and my dad was sick, and he got sick after I did. And I told my nephew, I said, up the tonic, because I had a weekend off, and I said, just go ahead and give it to him and up it, give him more, because he said my dad was like coughing up this really thick phlegm. And so he did. And I was worried because the nurses were still coming at the time, and then he was gone. I thought, he's going to be 90 years old, and I was figuring he was going to be sick for a while, but it lasted 1 week. He's not been sick once, and he takes his tonic every day faithfully. In fact, he probably guzzles it. I have a bottle next to his chair, so he takes a bit of it, and now he swears by it. He believes it, because even though he was taking the apple cider vinegar and it was keeping the infection from spreading into his blood, but it just was not healing. It wasn't going away. And the only thing that was different is I upped that tonic, and he hasn't been sick since. And I thought for sure when he got sick in January with that upper respiratory thing, because he's got all of the medication that most metabolic people who have diabetes, and he had open heart surgery 20 years ago, and then you've got whatever else comes with the high blood pressure and cholesterol and all that stuff. But his medication's even been cut back. The coolest thing about all of this was when those nurses said, we don't need to come back here anymore. Cecil doesn't need us. And they did a follow-up call about 2 months later when this COVID thing all started to see how he was doing. I said, he's fine. I don't think he's ever been this good. Mentally, I mean, he's almost 90, and mentally he's got mental clarity. He has no dementia or nothing. He's just, if he didn't have the, and I think a lot of it has to do with what medications he's taking, where he has that a little bit of neuropathy in his feet. But that's otherwise it's fine. He just fell a couple last weekend, and he had a big old huge bruise on his left arm. Gone.
That's amazing, Christine. Yeah.
That's my dad. That's what happened this past year. And dealing with that for 6 years, and then finally getting him on the tonic. Because my mom, I kept trying to get my mom to start him on it, and she went the medical route, the doctors, nurses, and hospital and surgery and all that. And I just finally said enough was enough, and I tried it, and I am extremely thankful for this product.
Christine, I wanted to stop for a second. So how much tonic are you giving your dad? I'm sure everybody wants to know.
He takes at least 2 ounces a day, at least. He doesn't even measure it. He just has a little shot glass, and he pours it in there and drinks it. So at least I started him on 1 ounce in the morning and 1 ounce in the afternoon, and then I just sat back to watch and see what happens.
That's pretty good, because sometimes we have people who are afraid to give it to their elderly parents because they just don't know. But yeah, your dad's taking 2 ounces, so that's pretty good.
He still has these other medications, but he puts priority on this now. So he would rather have this. He's actually thinking about going off of his meds or having them take him off of them.
So you're telling me he's functioning better than? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's what we need to hear.
In fact, all my friends and family keep telling me I'm keeping my dad alive. They're going, you're the one that's keeping him alive. He was pretty sick.
And then, let's be realistic. I mean, we're all going to age. We're all going to get old. And sooner or later, we're going to die. But why die in pain and suffering and being where you can't function? So you're saying the tonic's helping him function again, at least?
Yes. He has no pain. He tells us, I have no pain. Wow. He doesn't have arthritis. The only thing he has is he has some neuropathy in his feet from the diabetes, but I'm thinking that maybe some of that might be from a reaction to the medication.
Right. Yeah, we can't expect that we're going to be perfect in health, but the tonic can really help people to at least not be suffering in your old age. Why not? Even if it took some time. You're saying your dad, he didn't take it right away, and that's because of your mom. But eventually you were able to get him to take it. Wonderful.
I got other stories with this tonic with other family members because I've probably got about 20 family members now drinking it. I'd like to just throw in one more experience, be really quick. My nephew got swine flu a few years back, and he's always sickly. He's 27, so he just can't do things like most 27-year-olds because he's always sickly. Well, recently he got sick, was tested for COVID, been sick for over a month, struggling with no energy and just not feeling well. And so finally I talked him into trying the tonic. I said, just try it. Try an ounce a day. Just do it because you've been sick so much. So after dealing with that for about a month and a half, because he was my helper, he would come out and sit with my dad and help with certain personal things like bathing and what have you, but he just didn't have any energy and was sick. So about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I told him, I says, I'll give you a bottle of tonic. Just take it. Just an ounce. And within a week, he started feeling better. He texted me and he says, thank you. And he said, I feel a lot better now. I was really scared. And I'm taking it every day. And I feel like it's working. So, and you're taught, this is a skeptic. He didn't want to take anything. And now he's feeling better. He texted me and he said he's ready to start helping me with my dad again.
That's incredible, Christina.
He took the COVID test and it came up negative, but he had all the symptoms. So I just told him, just take it. Don't worry about what it is. Just take it. I said, you have clean blood, you'll have good life. That's the key. So anyway.
That is. Keep on sharing it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm so happy to have you on. Folks, you heard it. Christina's story of her dad, Cecil, and her nephew. Just share it with your family.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you, Christina. Folks, you heard it from Christina. Cecil, he's 89 years old, and he's drinking JC Tonic on a daily basis. What a story. Thank you for sharing that with us. Thank you so much. Folks, I know you heard Judy Rich's story a couple weeks ago, but when you're drinking JC Tonic, I got to tell you, you start to progress and things will start to happen. So I want Judy to tell you what's new with JC Tonic. So Judy, tell us, what are some of the things that are happening now that you've been drinking JC Tonic?
Well, we're, 2 or 3 weeks down the line now, a little bit later, and I'm doing very well on it. I take 2 ounces a day, 1 ounce in the morning, and then I take an ounce at night before I go to bed. My problem was my sciatic nerve was driving me crazy. It hurt so bad, and I didn't know what to do. I was going to the chiropractor. It wasn't helping, and I remembered I had some tonic in the closet. And I thought, well, I'll just take some. I'll just take some and see if that works. And I did. I took an ounce that morning, and then I took another ounce that night. And I started feeling better in a couple of days. And I thought, well, something's happening here. I didn't feel perfect, no, but I felt better. I could tell something was working for me. And so I just kept on taking it. Then I was on the Tonic show one Sunday night. Lenny invited me in. And I told my story from start to finish. I had been on it in 2001. That's when I started. And I had taken it through about 2011 or 12. And then for some reason, I just kind of dropped off, didn't take it. Didn't seem like I needed it or something. I don't remember. And lo and behold, here it came. My hip, my sciatic nerve started bothering me, and I didn't know why. And I tried exercising. I went to the doctor. I went to the chiropractor. Nothing worked. And I thought, well, I'm just going to take that tonic. Nothing else has worked. That's got to work. And it did. It stopped the hurt. It stopped the pain in my hip. And I had been so much better. Before I was taking the tonic, when we'd have change of weather, which we have a lot of that in Colorado. I'm from Denver, Colorado. We have a lot of change, particularly in the winter, and it's cold. That would make me hurt so bad. Now we've just gone through several changes here, cold weather, really cold in the last few days, and snow one day, and I wasn't a bit bothered. I was fine. I was walking fine. The other day, I still work. I'm an apartment manager, and I was walking from the office down to the postal area where we have our mailboxes. And I had just put my coat and my gloves on, and I just headed on down that way, down the sidewalk, and to get the mail in. And I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. I was walking normally, I thought, and I was going fast. And this lady behind me came up from behind. She said, Judy, what have you done? You're walking so fast, I can't keep up with you. And I said, what? I said, I'm just walking. And she says, no, you're doing something different. And I said, no. I said, I'm walking. And she said, no, something's different about you. And I said, oh, maybe it's the tonic. Maybe it's the JC Tonic I'm taking. And she said, what are you taking? And I told her it was JC Tonic. And she said, well, it's helped you this much? You were limping before. I said, well, I'm not limping now, and I'm still taking the tonic. So I said, I guess it works, doesn't it?
That's wonderful, Judy. You know, a lot of people who drink JC Tonic, I want them to realize that the longer you take it, and if you're steady with it,
yes,
more things will happen to you, more good things.
Yes.
And that's why I wanted to ask you what lately has been happening to you with the tonic. And what a wonderful story.
People are noticing. People are noticing that before I was limping a lot, and it was mostly on my left side. Now I'm walking straight like I would if I had no sciatic nerve problem. And I just kept taking the tonic. I waited a few days. I didn't get that much better in just a few days, so I just kept on taking it. I knew from taking it before that you have to take it for a while. You can't just take it once or twice or a week or something and then stop. No, that's not going to work. You've got to stay on it. You've got to let your body work with the tonic.
That's so true, Judy. I just want to tell everybody who's listening to the call, just keep taking it. Things come up in our lives where we think we can't afford it anymore, or maybe, truthfully, maybe you lost your job or financially. If you could keep JC Tonic on your grocery bill, that's what I do.
Even just 1 ounce, Lenny, even if a person can just afford 1 ounce a day, you will see a difference in time. It's not going to happen overnight, but it will happen.
Thank you so much, Judy, for the update. Folks, you heard Judy. Just stick with it. Don't quit. She stopped for a while, but she's back on JC Tonic.
Again. You'll be in trouble again.
Well, very good, Judy.
Don't let yourself get in trouble again. Just keep taking it and taking it and taking it. And, just make it part of your life. Just like you get up and maybe you drink a cup of coffee or you drink a cup of tea in the morning. Well, get up and take your tonic, and it's down, and it's gone, and you've taken it, and that's it. And then you can worry about it again at night if you want.
Thank you so much, Judy, for sharing your story, your update. Welcome. It's awesome. Thank you. Have a good night.
I hope I can help everybody out there. Okay?